He's standing backstage, fingers shaking just enough that he hides them behind the microphone stand. 84 years old. The roar outside still sounds the same, but his body doesn't answer the way it used to. And in that moment, before the lights, before the applause, you can almost hear him thinking it. So this is how it ends. Quiet, unsteady, human. This is Neil Diamond. And the truth about his life isn't the sing-along, it's the silence. Sweet Caroline didn't come from sunshine. It came from a boy who learned early that love leaves without warning. Brooklyn, 1940s. Cold apartments, thin walls, the smell of boiled cabbage hanging in the air. A father knocking on doors in the snow, selling dry goods for coins that barely mattered. A mother stitching together a household with prayer and exhaustion. Neil slept on a sagging mattress beside his younger brother, listening to neighbors fight, babies cry, radios hiss with war news. Nothing felt permanent, not warmth, not safety, not affection. Then his father disappears, drafted into the army, and everything collapses at once. His mother takes the boys west, Cheyenne, Wyoming, endless sky, no friends, no noise, just wind and absence. At night, while Rose sewed under a single bulb to earn a few extra dollars, Neil slipped into the local movie theater, dark, cheap, warm. On the screen, Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, men who sang their loneliness and made it sound heroic. That's where it clicked. Music didn't erase pain. It organized it, made it survivable. Back in Brighton Beach after the war, the struggle followed them home. His parents aged fast. Neil became quiet, observant, the kind of kid who feels everything and says nothing until his 15th birthday. A $9 guitar, cheap, warped, strings that sliced his fingers open, but it was his. He played until his hands burned, until blood hardened into calluses. Armor. That same year, he wrote his first song, for a girl who probably never knew what she'd started. He would later admit it plainly. Music was how he spoke when words failed. That habit never left him, and it cost him everything. By 1958, he's at NYU on a fencing scholarship, studying pre-med. Doctor, respectable, safe. His parents finally exhale, but Neil is carrying a guitar through the medical library like a secret weapon. Between anatomy lectures, he sneaks down to Tin Pan Alley, knocking on doors that smell like smoke and disappointment. Can I play you something? No. Too slow. Too sad. Next. Day after day, same jacket, same battered case. Rejection wasn't an event, it was a routine. And then comes the decision that never stops haunting him. 10 credits short of a degree. 10. He quits school and takes a $50 a week job at Sunbeam Music Publishing. His father's face when he tells him, Neil never forgets it. Not anger, worse, disbelief. The office is unheated, the piano out of tune. He writes until his hands cramp, stomach empty, surviving on coffee and deli scraps. Too personal, they tell him. Too honest. 16 months later, they fire him. Now he's adrift. Manhattan doesn't care. He lives on 35 cents a day, coffee, a roll. If the baker is kind, yesterday's bread. Some nights, he walks the streets just to stay warm. Other nights, he sleeps above Birdland, jazz bleeding through the floorboards while he plays a broken piano until sunrise, fingers splitting open. I wrote because I had nothing else, he'd say later. Writing was breathing. Then, finally, 1966. Jeff Barry and Ellie Greenwich hear his demos. They don't hear polish. They hear hunger. Bang Records signs him. Cherry hits the radio like a punch to the chest. Number 6 on Billboard. 1 million copies gone in weeks. Overnight, the Invisible Man becomes unavoidable, and that's when the real damage begins. He's already married. Jay Posner, high school sweetheart. 2 daughters, Marjorie and Elin. But success doesn't slow down to let you be a father. He misses first steps, birthdays, holidays. His daughters recognize him from album covers, not memory. By 1969, the marriage collapses. Jay files for divorce. Neil barely fights it. How could he? He's never home. Even when he is, he's gone. He remarries quickly. Marcia Murphy, 2 sons, Jesse and Micah, a second chance, or so he tells himself. But the same pattern repeats: touring, recording, obsession disguised as dedication. By the early 70s, he's untouchable. 5 million albums sold in a single year. 20,000 people a night screaming his name. A Malibu estate overlooking the Pacific. Marble floors, grand pianos, luxury cars, money pouring in faster than he can spend it. And yet, empty hotel rooms. Silence after the applause. Fame builds walls higher than poverty ever did. In 1994, Marcia files for divorce. The settlement? $65 million, one of the largest in Hollywood history. The headlines call him successful. The truth? He's lost his family twice. His daughter would later say it out loud. He was married to his music. We were just the audience. That sentence never leaves him. He tries to fix it the only way he knows how. Songs as apologies, flying his kids to concerts. But time doesn't refund itself. Missed childhoods don't reschedule. Then 2008 hits. His mother dies. Rose, the woman who held him together when everything else fell apart. He cancels shows, retreats to Colorado. For weeks, he can't sing. When she died, he says, a part of me went with her. And just when he thinks the losses are done, the body betrays him. Parkinson's disease, a diagnosis that doesn't shout, it creeps, steals rhythm, balance, certainty. For a performer, it's cruel in a way words can't touch. The man who once owned the stage now stumbles on flat ground. He stands in front of a mirror and doesn't recognize himself. Walking away from touring nearly kills him, but staying would destroy what's left. This is the hand God's given me, he says. Not bravado, acceptance. Today, he lives in Colorado, mountains instead of arenas. An $8 million home filled with gold records that feel less like trophies and more like ghosts. A recording studio by a bay window. A grand piano waiting, not for hits, but for memory. His hands stiffen now. Some days are merciless, others gentle. He hums when he can't sing, because when he does, he says, everything inside me still works together. His wife, Katie McNeil, stands beside him. His children visit. Grandchildren fill the house with noise, real noise, the kind fame never gave him. He donates quietly. Parkinson's research, children's hospitals, veterans, no press releases, no applause. In the mornings, he walks his garden with a cane, wind on his face. He presses piano keys, not to perform, but to remember who he was before the world needed him. I used to chase the world, he says now. Now I let it come to me. That's the part they don't sing in stadiums. Neil Diamond didn't just write songs, he paid for them, with marriages, with fatherhood, with a body that finally said enough. And maybe that's why the music still works, because it wasn't joy pretending to be pain. It was pain brave enough to become joy. And long after the voice fades, that echo doesn't.